So I'm just going to show you a little video in the style of what I'd send to a customer. So this is a 3 metre by 3 metre by 1200 high, so it's like 4 foot high. It's going to all be above ground. It's a sleeper kit. It'll be built by the customer on the other side in Blackpool, and then once he's built it, just to make sure everything's a perfect fit, then we take measurements of the internals. So you measure from here to that corner, and then here to that corner, and that's your length. And then for your width, measure here to that corner, and same there to that corner. And you give the longest measurement. If it's a centimetre out, 2 centimetres out, it's not the end of the world. It's just going to be bunching up a little bit here, so that's no problem at all. So we build it, we don't put as many screws as you normally would put in, because you'd just be putting extra holes in for no reason, and the screws don't get as good a grip once you've already used a hole. So when you're screwing them in, you want to make sure you put 2 screws in here, and then it changes below. You're screwing into another sleeper here, so you put 2 there, and it changes again here, so you put 2 there. With it being 4 foot deep, you don't want to take any chances, and then 2 at the end. And then if you've got a long run like this, 2 in the middle. So this one sleeper would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screws in it. This one in the corner would have 2 either end. So nice and easy. Just bear in mind when you are screwing it in, if you keep putting them in the exact same place all the way down, you're going to hit on top of a screw when you're screwing in from the top. So what you want to make sure you do is you can do 2 a bit wider, 2 a bit closer, 2 a bit wider, try and alternate it, and then you won't have that issue. You'll notice when you are screwing it in, because the sleeper will start pushing up as you're screwing it. At first you'll be like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, all you do then is just move the screw a couple of centimetres any direction, and then screw it in again, and you'll be fine. All the ends have been treated with a wood preserver that's just drying as we speak. Yeah, we spray paint the inside with lines just to give you a guide where we've matched them up. When you get them to the other end, they do warp, they do shrink, they do expand. So with them being sleepers, it's not an exact science, so that's just how we've set it up. So you can do it exactly that, but what we recommend you do is on the outside here, match up this to this and that to that as you're screwing up, and get it plumb all the way up. That's why we don't make the liner, because things can change. Customer like to change their mind and decide, oh actually I want to shorten it, or I want to change something, or we don't know. They might even want to build up, and then you could build up, put another 2 sleeps on top of there if you really wanted to, and have a framed window. So yeah, the way that we number them is we always start number 1 being below the window hole. So we number each and every sleeper, even the small ones. So you just follow yourself clockwise all the way around. When you're starting to build it, what you do is you lay the first 2 courses, and once you've got the first 2 courses down, that's when you can start screwing in, because one course you can't screw down into anything but the concrete. We don't recommend that you need to screw into the concrete. Some people do put rebar and all sorts in, but upon this size, with the timber screws that we supply, it's more than strong enough. So you don't necessarily have to match it up exactly. It's your pond. The liner won't be ordered yet. We'll order that once you've actually built it. And when you get to these, the first one, we say skip to the other side, because 58 goes to 59 and 67, 66 and so on. It's actually made of exactly 99 sleepers, this one. So these 2 are the last that you put in. You put these in last. So you go 49 and 50 is the window one where you've got to step it, and it tells you the next one, step it forward. So we've spray painted all this area here, and we've got a line. Don't know if you can just about see it there. That's how far you need to step it forward, because that equals your glass thickness. So your glass is actually going to sit in this hole here that we've made. So your glass sits on top of there, you glue it to this, glass sits on top of there, and you put glue on here as well, and that keeps everything safe. We've got longer screws that go through here. We use 250mm because when you're screwing into the end grain there, you don't get as good a grip on it on 150mm screws. So we use 250mm screws, and the screw comes right through here, so it's a lot stronger. You can feel it. Everything will tighten up nicely. And we also use the 250mm screws on here. One thing to be careful of is just making sure that you don't screw down and through here. You want to be screwing into the sleeper below, so don't be screwing, you know, here. You want to be screwing there basically. So the way that I'd screw this one in is underneath this one you have two, underneath this upright you have two. You can't see them, so you don't have to get them perfect, but you're best off marking out how you want to see the screws. We normally put 8 screws in, so we'll kind of section it off, and then we'll put 2, 2, and then 2, and 2 screws in there. And then the coping is supplied separately. It's uncut because we could do it with mitered corners all perfect, and then you might build it and it might all be out of plumb. So we find that it's just easier to supply you with coping, and then you can either just alternate it and do it square. It looks better with a mitre. So when you get to doing your coping, I'll drag some over actually and show you. If you don't have a mitre saw, you've just got a circular saw, that's enough for doing the job. So that's what your coping looks like. It's as thick as a sleeper, well, it's as wide as a sleeper, not as thick. So it's 8 by 1 inch. Quite hard to get hold of actually, this stuff. So you can either have it square like this, which doesn't look as good. Once you screw it in, it will sit down a bit better. Just doing it one-handed, so bear with us. So when you come to doing your coping, set your coping where you want it to be. Now this is the part where if you make a mistake you're knackered. So you want to make sure you take your time on this, you measure twice, do it right. We suggest not setting it on the absolute end of here. We say it's probably best to have it hanging over a little bit, because we find that it's a bit more difficult if you're working towards, if you're cutting this towards that corner. Some find it a bit more difficult. So you've got both your bits of coping here. So what you do is you get a piece of wood or an angle iron, and then that's your inside there. So you get a pencil, try and hold this somehow. So get a pencil and draw up here. Might be better if swap hands actually. Yeah, it will be. So get a piece of wood up there, draw a line up, and then on this side make sure it matches up. Wish I had 3 hands. So on this side, a bit of editing needed for that. So on this side, all you do is draw a line there, and then what you want to do is flip it over, and you'll have a line here, and you'll have a line underneath here. So you flip it over, and you just match the line on that side to this side, cut that, and then you'll have your mitre joint. Then you can stick it on, make sure it matches up, and then you just lie this piece of wood over that one, and pretty much do the same, except for this side isn't going to be here. So you get your pencil, run it down there, and do the same on this side, and then connect the 2 lines. And then if you're using a mitre like a chop saw, then it'll be perfect. If you're using a circular saw, it might not be as perfect. But it's not the end of the world, because these bits of timber can be bought. Again, if you do mess up, normally you do one corner, mess it up, and then the rest you've learned from it, so you do it right. But yeah, so this is a 3x3 metre, 1200 high, 99 pieces in total. It's all numbered, and we can do pretty much any size you want. We do have advertised on the website general sizes, because they use the length and widths of what the sleepers come in, so they're a bit cheaper. But if you want us to cut to make it to your exact size, makes it a bit more expensive, but as you can see, it still looks good, nice and impressive. And it's really easy to put together, because the screws just screw in from the top. So you get 2 layers, screw down, and then once you've got the 2 layers in on a level base, absolutely flies up. Like I said, I did this with a 16-year-old lad who was just kind of helping me shift sleepers over, and it only took me an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's not hard to do, especially when all the cutting's been done for you. But yeah, any questions or anything like that, give us a shout. We're happy to help, and yeah, look forward to hearing from you soon.